We're going to move on now to concerns about the state of our rivers and waterways, which have become a big political issue. The Liberal Democrats have been seizing on it during the general election campaign. In fact, it seems hardly a day goes by, does it, without their leader, Sir Ed Davey. There he is, being filmed falling into a lake or a pool. Last week he took another dunking at an activity centre at Henley-in-Arden in Warwickshire, part of the Stratford-on-Avon constituency. The sitting Conservative MP, Nadeem Zahawi, has stood down there, and the Lib Dems have got their eyes on victory after winning control of the local council last year. Here's our Coventry and Warwickshire political reporter, Joshua Nevitt.
A perfect day to take a dip in the River Avon, at one of Stratford-upon-Avon's most popular bathing spots. But swimming here is not recommended, and some locals have a sinking feeling about the quality of the water.
We paddled 2 weeks ago. It was just where it was coming to flood, so we paddled all the way up here. Afterwards, I had a red rash, and it never happened before, and I've been paddling 30 odd years.
We paddleboard here quite a lot, so obviously the toxins in the water and pollution will be affecting those times that we have together.
Their concerns reflect the rising tide of public anger and protests over sewage in our rivers. 2023 was the worst year for sewage discharges on record in England, and the outcry has spilled over into the general election campaign. Stratford-on-Avon has long been a Conservative safe seat, but the Liberal Democrats hope they can take the seat from the Conservatives and feel their plan to stop sewage can help funnel more voters in their direction.
We obviously want to reform water companies. We want them to be public benefit companies, to put environmental benefit before shareholders, and we are going to abolish Ofwat and replace it with a clean water authority.
The Conservative candidate Chris Clarkson was only recently selected for Stratford-on-Avon. He stands by his record of supporting unlimited fines for water companies.
Obviously, the Liberal Democrats are trying to imply that the Conservative Party doesn't have a plan for this. Of course we do. We want to ensure that the water infrastructure is properly replaced. A lot of it's Victorian, but the reality is you can't just sort of flip a switch and change it.
Labour's candidate says he wants to focus on holding water companies accountable.
We're going to put the failing water companies under special measures, and one of the things we're also going to do is to strengthen the regulation to ensure that the water regulators put very strong regulations to hold our bosses accountable and block the payment of bonuses.
Reform UK's candidate says the water industry needs an overhaul.
The whole issue of natural monopolies needs rethinking, and in fact in many ways the Reform UK would actually be looking to renationalise some of the industries that we think have delivered such poor services.
And bigger fines were suggested by the candidate for non-poll, a new party that's claiming to reinvent politics.
If we fine Severn Trent for 100 million, I would like us in Stratford to get 50 million back.
As candidates look for floating voters, environmental campaigners have been testing the waters for pollutants.
The reading is 0.5. The ideal guidance and the typical level that the river should be is 0.1. So you can see that it's 5 times what it should be.
Environment Agency data showed there were more than 60,000 storm overflows in the Severn Trent area last year, a 1/3 increase from 2022. This is where sewage is discharged into waterways after heavy rain. The water company said it's investing millions in reducing sewage spills. But with water bills set to rise to pay for these upgrades, some voters may be jumping at the chance to pick a politician with a plan to plug the pollution.